This video is a step-by-step guide to get started with Wabi device-level application development in Python. Wabi runs on a list of supported wireless development kits, and for this video we will be using a Wi-Fi development kit coming from Broadcom, and more specifically the WCD4 from the Wicked family. You will need only two cables, a simple USB mini cable for power supply and FTDI interfaces, and a USB to serial cable for local application programming over UART. If you are developing a Wabi application for the first time, please make sure to visit our Get Started page in our website, which contains step-by-step instructions on how to get access to the required hardware, make the hardware Wabi enabled and install the drivers, download and install the Wabi development environment, download and install one of the supported Wabi clients in your smartphone, write your first Wabi application, and finally, install the application to the device. For all these steps, there are detailed documentation sections in our docs page which explain all the aspects of setting up the Wabi development environment, including the selected hardware and the Wabi cloud services that enable even easier and secure application development and deployment. The documentation also contains information about how to use a Wabi client to access the application marketplace and the different user roles that are supported. It also contains detailed instructions about how to use the Wabi IDE, information about the Wabi API for application development, with usage examples and a pinout of each supported development kit. Okay, so we will first start by downloading the Wabi IDE. For this guide, we will install Wabi IDE on a Windows 10 laptop, so we download the Windows 64-bit version of the IDE. After the download is finished, extract the zip file and open the Wabi IDE executable. Wabi IDE requires Java 8 to be installed, so you may see a message like this if Java is not installed or if you have an older Java version. To see whether Java is already installed, open the command prompt and type java-version. If you get a message like this, then Java is not installed. To install Java 8, please visit java.com website and download the relevant version for your system. It's advised to download the offline version. After the download is finished, open the Java setup and follow the installation instructions to complete the setup. Also, make sure to check the Windows environment variables and update the Java path if needed, usually in case a previous Java version was installed. Now the Wabi IDE should open normally and you'll be able to see the main Wabi IDE environment. On the left panel there is the project or application navigator with all your projects and the relevant exams per device. The exams are created as soon as a new project is created, so don't worry if there are no exams shown in the very beginning. In the center panel, there is a text editor where you'll be writing all your code with tabs for its source file and syntax error warnings. In the right panel, there is the serial viewer to get log messages from the device, and at the bottom panel, you can see the console viewer to get log messages from the Wabi IDE. Now that the Wabi IDE is installed, we can plug our hardware. Make sure to connect both cables with the development kit. For connecting the wires to the USB to serial adapter, check the board pinout in section 8 of the documentation. Connect the USB mini cable to your workstation and open the device manager. Do not connect the USB to serial adapter yet. Two new devices will be shown in the device manager, a USB serial port and a Wicked eval board devices. The drivers for those devices can be downloaded from the docs page section 2.2.1. Extract the zip folder and install the drivers by pointing Update Driver Software to the extracted folder. Do the same for both drivers. After the installation, a Wicked USB serial port will be created and a COM port will be assigned to it. We will be using this port to get log messages from the device. It's now time to plug in the USB to serial adapter. A new USB serial port will be found in the device manager. Windows will automatically download and install the drivers for this adapter. If you face an issue, make sure to visit ftdi.com and manually download the drivers. After the installation, a COM port will be assigned to the USB to serial adapter. This is a serial port that we will be using for the local application programming. In case you receive the development kit that is not already pre-programmed with Wabi, you need to make it Wabi enabled by installing the Wabi Virtual Machine image to the device. You need to do that only once. To download the latest Wabi Virtual Machine, please check section 6.5 in Docs page that describes how to download and extract the relevant image. From the Wabi ID, select Project, install Wabi Virtual Machine, and select the Wabi Virtual Machine files that you downloaded earlier, one for the Wabi Virtual Machine and one for the Wabi bootloader. After clicking OK, the programming of the development kit will start. Please check the console logs to see when the programming is finished. Now your device is Wabi enabled. Congrats! To enable log message from the device, click on the serial viewer icon and select the COM port that is used for the device logs, in our case COM6. Note that as mentioned earlier, the other port is the USB to serial port that we use for programming. Click OK and reset the device. You will now be able to see logs from the initialization of the device. Each device needs to be registered at the Wabi Cloud before it can be used. For that reason, a 256-bit unique ID or UUID is generated for every device and is provided either as a printed label on the device or directly by the manufacturer. The UUID is also printed in the log message during device initialization. To register a device, we need to use a Wabi client, either the web page version or the smartphone app. For this example, we will use the web page. Wabi Client is the front end of Wabi Cloud and supports user registration either as a developer or as a customer. We will use a developer account to register our device. After logging in, we select the Register Device tab and put the UUID that we copied earlier to register our device. Now the device is registered with Wabi Cloud and we can see it in the Browse Devices tab. Now we can return to Wabi ID. The next step is to set up the network settings of the device. We can click on the wireless network icon, and since we have a Wi-Fi device, we can just enter the network name and passphrase of the Wi-Fi router. These settings need to be written in the device, and this can be done over the serial interface. After clicking OK, we select the serial port for application programming, and then we first click the reset button of the device and right after the SW2 button for 3 seconds. The USB to serial cable indicators, if any, will start blinking and after a while the device will be programmed with the new network settings. Now that the device has been registered to the Wabi Cloud and has been programmed with the correct network settings, it will connect to the local network, start all the required services for the Wabi Cloud, and run the default Python application for that device type. We are now ready to create our own Python application and install it in the device. Let's start with a very simple Hello World application by creating a new Wabi project. We write the preferred application name and we select our hardware. As soon as we click Finish, a new project will be created together with the relevant exams for the selected hardware in case they are not already visible. Our project currently contains only one main PY file and we can copy-paste the 3-line example Hello World program from our Get Started page. It's a really simple program that will print Hello World in the serial viewer, but it's a good starting point to understand the basics of Wabi development. After saving the file, we can install our newly created Hello World application in the device. We can either select local installation to install the application over the serial interface, or cloud installation to upload the app to the Wabi Cloud and then install it to the device over the air. We will first use the local installation method by clicking the Wabi app local option, select the app to install and the COM port for application programming. As earlier, we need to click on the device reset button and right after the SW2 button for 3 seconds. After programming finishes successfully, we'll be able to see our new application running. Next, we can create an application that takes advantage of our built-in hardware modules to blink a LED in the device. Let's go ahead and create another Wabi project and name it LED. Since we already have a LED blink example, we will copy-paste it into the project. This application uses the GPIO submodule from the hardware module and toggles a LED every 2 seconds. Let's first install this application locally, as we did earlier, and see how the LED will blink as soon as the application is started. Now let's reinstall the application using the cloud method. After selecting the application, we need to provide developer credentials so that the application can be installed in the cloud repository of a specific developer. We already mentioned earlier about the different user roles in Wabi Cloud, so make sure you have registered as a developer in order to be able to install applications over the cloud from the Wabi IDE. Enter your credentials, and after clicking the Finish button, the application will be uploaded first to the Wabi Cloud repository, and then it will be installed in the device over the air. Make sure to check the console and CR viewers to see the progress of the cloud installation and eventually the new program to be executed in the device. Now let's open the Wabi client web page and log in as a developer. Select the Browse Devices, and next to your device you will be able to see the default applications for that device and currently installed application. Also, if you click on the Uploaded Applications, you will be able to see a list with all the applications that have been uploaded to the cloud. If an application has been uploaded more than once, a new version is created. The developer is able to install an application directly from the web interface, It's also possible to uninstall an application for the device, roll back the application to a previous version, or completely remove the application from the cloud. Again, the developer is able to register new devices from the web interface, add a new application for any supported device, add an updated version of an application, and change some personal info. If we create a customer user account, we will be also able to browse the registered devices and their compatible applications. The customer has the ability to purchase an application and to install, uninstall, and remove a purchased application the same way as the developer does. Also, depending on the installed application, the customer user account has a live feed graph of data that has been pushed from the device to the cloud. The feed is provided as a Python module, so it's possible to create applications with live feed support. the customer account is also able to register a new device and update the profile info. Please also note that, as we mentioned earlier, the Wabi client is also available as a smartphone app for both iOS and Android. It's available for download from Apple App Store and from Google Play. Both applications have a similar interface with the web version of Wabi client and also support both developer and customer accounts. Thanks for watching this Getting Started video. Stay tuned for more videos from Wabi.